Coming up right now is Destination Germany. We're taking you on a journey somewhere in the country that is well worth a visit, whether you're a tourist or a permanent resident, a foreigner, or a German citizen. Here we'll be covering the famous sites as well as those little-known corners of Deutschland. All that matters is showing you that Germany is an interesting and exciting place to visit. If you enjoy the destinations that we talk about each week, check out our website, thisweekingermany.de, and we'll have photos of each week's destination.
Last week's destination was something very easy to get to. It was outdoors and can be enjoyed in any season. We went to the Grunewald area in southwest Berlin. It's a forest that's about 20 minutes or so outside the main city area of the nation's capital and has many trails and attractions to visit. You can hike or stroll along the wooded paths, visit memorials, check out the old Cold War listening post, and in general have a relaxing time out in nature. All of this is just a quick train ride from the centre of Berlin. So go back to last week's episode if you want to hear about that. But where are we off to this week?
This week we're going to find out why you might want to take a trip to my area of Germany. We're going to my state of Saxony-Anhalt, and we're going to the south, where you're going to find a small town. It's old. It's the center of the Castle District, as well as the center of the northern wine-growing area in the country. It's the town of Naumburg. And we're going to focus on one of its major attractions, the Naumburg Cathedral.
So before we get to Naumburg Cathedral, could you tell us a little bit about the city? So you already got my attention with the wine and castles.
Yes, the town is pretty old. It dates back to about 1000 AD, and it was a very important trade route crossing until the Leipzig Fair became popular, and traffic diverted away from Naumburg. Now it's a medium to small-sized city, but it has a powerful atmosphere. Much of the city has become modern, but there's still a medieval old town which draws a lot of visitors. And in the middle of this area is the Naumburg Dome, which is a Protestant cathedral of St. Peter and Paul.
So there's a church, most likely very old, of course, but there are many beautiful old churches in Germany to visit. So what makes this one so unique?
Okay, it is pretty old. It started out as a castle, founded by Eckhart I over 1,000 years ago, which made this entire city what it is today. At the time, it was pretty small compared to the huge Gothic structure that it has become today. You may find old churches and even cathedrals in many large and small towns across Germany, but this one is massive. Not only is there a museum inside the church, it's big enough that there are guided tours daily. That, with the surrounding gardens, Romanesque and early Gothic architecture, and the surrounding town, make Naumburg Cathedral really stand out.
So what can you expect from the museum?
The permanent exhibit tells about the church and the region throughout history. It also showcases the art, painting, and sculptures that reside there. One of the most famous being the West Choir sculptures entitled The Most Beautiful Women of the Middle Ages. You know the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, right?
Yes, of course.
Well, then you might remember the evil queen who was the main antagonist trying to undo Snow White because she was just so jealous of her beauty. The Disney company actually modeled their cartoon of the evil queen after one of the statues in the cathedral in Naumburg. She was modeled after the Countess Ute von Naumburg.
You mentioned this was found in the permanent exhibition. Does that mean they have special exhibitions as well?
They do. There are almost always art and history exhibitions going on there for a limited time. It's in an area of the cathedral called the Treasure Vault. Right now there's a show that highlights masterpieces of contemporary stained glass. But you want to catch this exhibit pretty fast because it's only here until the middle of March. But starting in May, a show entitled Lines Between Earth and Sky will be starting. This is a show on burial culture, and it showcases grave plate engravings between the 13th and 17th centuries.
Well, that sounds a bit exciting and a little macabre. Anything else of note?
I started mentioning that there are gardens around the cathedral. These are quite remarkable and usually change during the season. Visitors can walk around the outdoor areas and view all sides of the cathedral. There's also a nice outdoor cafe if you want to stop and have a coffee while you soak up the atmosphere.